Hey guys, what's up? This is the episode 22, and guess what? First anniversary for the Lei Tai project. Again, I'm doing this because I love and I have a passion for this sport. I'm not monetize this, and guess what? Today we have one of the best of the best of the best female in Sanda in US. Yes, it's she. Yeah, it's her. Audrey Meeks. Hey Audrey, thank you very much for the opportunity. I know right now you are, a days, to depart to Dallas because Audrey, she's one of the USA Team Sanda athletes who gonna represent the country in the next World Games. And believe me, I know this girl from like since she was, fighting, from 8, 9 years, 10 years, something like that. And right now, like she's doing great, and I'm very proud because I think nowadays in US having girls like her like being a role model, for another kids, to me it's a special thing. And because we starting the second year in this late type project with her, with Audrey. But Audrey, tell us more about you. Thank you for being here with us, and this is your podcast.
Thank you for having me. My name is Audrey. I'm 23 years old. I have been doing Sanda for about 15, 16 years, since I was like 8 years old. Um, I work full-time job. I graduated Eastern New Mexico University. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Hey Audrey, and well, right now, tell us about your life in Sanda. How do you start? Uh, how you get involved? Your parents because of you? How can you tell us more about you, please?
Yeah. So before I ever did Sanda, I did ballet for about 4 years, 5 years maybe. And then my brother actually started wanting to do Sanda, and so we took him to a class at United Martial Arts, and he did that for like a couple months, and then I started going to watch him, and ended up loving it. And so I think JR was the coach at the time. I don't know if anybody knows JR, but he actually, I was like, I want to do this. And he was like, okay, come up here. So I put on like these itty bitty little gloves at 8 years old and hit the mitts, and I just like fell in love with it. And then ever since then, yeah, I've been doing it. I have about, I think I'm 10, 11 years undefeated nationally. I've done university games, junior worlds, and then next week I'm actually competing alongside four other teammates in the World University Games here in
Wow.
Fort Worth. So.
Yeah, and also Pan American, right?
Oh yeah, I have done Pan American. That was in Lubbock.
Yeah, I remember that fight with Brazil. She's a really, she's a really good fighter. I remember that fight, and I always said like, wow, this girl, it's amazing. And hey, Audrey, thank you for sharing us your, part of your story. But can you tell us about how do you feeling, like how your life changed since you're a girl and then you start growing up, middle school, high school, and like and doing this because it's, I'm not talking about it's weird because it's not, but oh, because of our culture here, it's like you don't see, many female doing this sport in US, honestly.
Right.
And the few are, they're good. You're one of the best, and there are more girls. Actually, I think in the last nationals, I saw more female trying to be in the team, and this and that's something excited because if you see it this way, like you're one of the role models, like I want to be like her. And how do you feel like that when since you start like in school and then middle school and this, like how's that story in your life?
It was definitely hard at the beginning, being the only female, because there weren't very many little girls that wanted to do it. So I was training with like a bunch of older men, like adults. And so it was hard for me to actually, you know, feel comfortable doing it because I was so small. Um, but once I got to middle school, it just started becoming natural. And it was like, this is my place, this is my home, these are my people. And then high school is where it really started getting serious, and I started getting into international competitions, and I actually had like a record on me. And being the only female, it's really hard now because I am an adult, and so training with other adult men is more difficult for me because I'm a female, I'm weaker, I'm not going to be as fast. But yeah, it's a journey for sure, but it's definitely been hard. So I'm trying to build in the United States specifically, I wanted to help build the female part of the sport, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, and let me tell you this. You're not weak. Of course not. I trained with you, this year in Lubbock, and you're so strong. You're like your speed is beautiful. Like I'm a coach too, and I coach people, and I can tell when someone has that power and speed and this and that, and you have the talent. You have the talent, you have the passion, because it's something is very important. Like to those like people who are listening this podcast in Spotify, let me tell you, like Audrey, like honestly, I being not maybe not working directly with her, but with the team, with the USA team, with Coach Lee, who's her coach, with Corey. I was a former athlete from the USA team, and I know how they train, and I know the model of training, and she's really strong. Even like you are what, like a 5'4".
I'm 5'3" ish.
Yeah, 5'3", and believe me, she's like, she kicks hard and she punches hard, and I felt it, and Audrey, and what happened like when you start like because I think it's very important, like for me as a parent, I have a little girl, my daughter, and let's say there's more parents listening or watching this podcast, and what can we expect as a parents, like having a daughter or girl training this sport, because many people are scared, like, oh no, I don't want my daughter getting injured, but what can you tell us?
Well, I feel like in any sport you're going to get hurt, and so that's inevitable. This sport specifically, there's probably a bigger risk of getting hurt, but that's something that your parents know when they get you into it. My parents specifically were very supportive of what I wanted to do and why I wanted to do it. But yeah, I think that your parents just have to have faith in like what you want to do, and you have to be able to trust that this is what they were meant to do and this is why they're doing it. But yeah, as a female, it's super hard to earn that trust and respect from other athletes, just because it's you're a female, you're already down here compared to all the men, some people say. But I think that it's empowering because you learn respect, you earn respect. You also learn discipline. Like a really big thing for me was learning discipline when I was younger. And it felt like I was growing up a lot faster than the other kids in my grade. So all of my friends were older and they were all from the gym. But it definitely brought me down the right path, this whole sport. And I think that more females should do it, just because it is a way of making friends and becoming strong and finding your confidence, and doing something that you love.
Yeah, and something that I love from your parents, I love your parents, your father, your mom, they're very, very supportive. And since I started, competing in US in 2014, I think they always there, and always with the team and doing something, and trying to get involved, and you as a kid, and competing, and guys, this is something important. Like, I don't know, I don't care which country you are, and I'm gonna speak a little bit Spanish, but si tú estás en Latinoamérica y tú piensas que es difícil que este deporte puede impactar a un hijo, créeme, es uno de los mejores deportes porque al final es contacto. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but at the end, what I'm trying to say is, it's gonna be a huge impact in your daughter, your son, and just you can see here in the picture, like just look the punch, look the muscle. What can you? Hey, what happens in this picture? Like, who was your opponent in this picture, and how you feel? What can you tell us about that fight?
This fight was actually very, very frustrating for me. We traveled to Macau, China. I was 18 years old, and I had drawn Hong Kong. And so when we were all training on the mats, like right before our fight, I looked over and Hong Kong was sitting there doing her mitts, and she was doing like super slow, kind of like half-assed mitts. And so I was like, oh, I got this. I'm good. And so my coach Lee, was also like, oh yeah, you got this. You're good. And so we get in there, and I'm actually 6 months out from my second knee surgery. I had meniscus repair done. And so I was already nervous about that. And, this is like this is my second international competition where I'm like fighting adults. And it was just like so scary. Then when I got in there, it was like, I know what I'm doing. This is just a glorified sparring match. That's what Corey says. And yeah, I won the first round, I think. And then the second round, she won. And it was like really, really close. If you look at the scoreboard, it was just insanely close. And the third round, she was in the lead by maybe like 2 points. In the very last like 5 seconds, all I can hear is my Coach Lee and Bruce going, go, go, go. And so they're screaming at me, and I just stand there. And I was like, man, if I would have had 2 more points, I could have won this. But it was a great experience, and I think that it helped me grow into the fighter I am today.
Yeah, and that's the most important because, like as you said, the experience. The like even 2 points. I always say, like, even if you win or lose, at the end, if you lose, you win experience. You know what I mean? Like you gain more
Yeah.
experience. If you win, you have to work harder for next year because you're the first and the second or then third they won your place, and it's all the circle. But yeah, I think you have that the passion, and because of the team you have, because as you said, like, oh, I'm the only girl training, with a bunch of guys, and thank God, like, you have one of the best teams in US, so you're training with the best coach, you're training with Corey, Bruce, people, international experience, you know what I mean? And this experience that you're just telling us is like, sometimes people don't understand when we travel to the other side, to the other side of the world. There's difference in, the time difference and the jet lag and this, and sometimes for us, as an athlete, sometimes it's hard because our body or brain is not ready,
Right.
and how do you what is your mindset when you go into compete? Because I always like, man, when you go into compete like this time, you always like that phase, like, very into it, and it's like, it's my time. How can you explain that?
My mindset's all over the place. I'll be, feeling in the best shape possible. And then the next day I'll be like crying in the corner because I didn't do good in sparring. But it's really good having a solid support group. My family's super supportive. I'll call them and be like, hey, I wasn't feeling it today. And my mom always knows what to say. And living with Jaden, my boyfriend, he's been a really good, he's been my rock through it all, like especially through this camp, just because he knows what I'm going through. And so when we do have those emotions and it's like super crazy one day and you feel super confident the next, it's nice to have, him there and my teammates there and coaches and family, all of them just helping me get through it. Because being a girl, I'm super emotional already. And so when I have like one of those little spells where I'm like not having a great day, everybody knows it. And so they're like, oh, Audrey's just being Audrey. But since they do know that, they already know how to handle it. I think I'm really blessed to have that support group.
Yeah, and your attitude. I always said like your attitude is everything. In when we were training in Lubbock, I remember you was feeling a little bit I think sick. I don't remember, but something happens and your mind says like, no, I have to, and I have to, and I had to. And I remember if it's an injury. I really don't remember what happened, but I was with an injury with my in my rib, and watching everyone and watching you still training and sparring, and that is the mindset of a champion. And I really want to, you know, to tell you like congratulations, because not many people, even male competitors, not even they got that mindset.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you said something. I think, in my opinion, the the best thing you have is your family, because they always supporting you.
Hmm.
Your brother, your sister, your mom, your your father, and now your boyfriend. And that is another thing. Like, how do you feel like you're going to compete together? Is one of the questions we were talking about that. Like, hey, how do you feel? Like, it's gotta be like a unique thing, you know?
It's definitely unique. And I can't remember if he said this or not, but in his podcast, we were like, he said that we were the power couple, like the ultimate power couple.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that. I think it's amazing because we get to go through all of it and we already know each other so well. So we know how to get through it together. Um, and it's just easier having that person there so that you're not doing it alone. And then you come home and you can talk about what you did that day and talk about how you feel that you can't like things that you can't explain to people at the gym. Or it's definitely been super fun having him in my camp with me, and being able to compete. It's super exciting.
And that's, yeah, and I'm not going to talk about the camp, because at the end is a team training, but just in the small things. How do you feel like now, right now, training with the whole USA team together? Like, there's Vincent, there's Bruce, there's Jaden, Livingston, you. Like, what is that feeling? Because at the end, I always say like, once a team, you always a team. There's a brotherhood there. Like, what are you feeling there?
It's definitely exciting and fun. It's been a journey for sure. It's really nice having everybody there, just because we are a team and we have to work together, and getting to know each other makes it easier to work together and easier to be there for each other, especially like in our international fights. Um, but yeah, we've all learned new techniques, we've learned new skills, just from everybody being there, and I think that it's really helped us grow as athletes and as team members. And I think that it's also helped us grow mentally, because
Mm.
there are those mental struggles where it's like you're comparing yourself to your teammates. And instead of comparing yourself, we always try to build each other up and grow together. So I think that's one of the biggest pluses to having everybody there at the same time.
Yeah. What about I think I believe Livingston is the captain right now, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. And what is the like? How do you how's because in my when I was in the team, Gary Chandler, I love that guy.
Yeah.
He was the captain, and one of the most important things that we really connect, a lot. And in Indonesia, we connect a lot. In my case, we were in the sauna, and trying to cut weight, and always supporting each other, and really it was that connection. I love and I always say like, man, you're my captain. I don't care like if years pass, whatever, but he always going to be that captain. How do you feel with your captain in this moment?
It's I'm pretty confident about him being our captain. He's definitely taken that leadership role seriously.
Yeah.
He's helped us with our weight cuts. He's helped us with um, our mentality, my mentality specifically, um, and just our being a group. I think he's helped us a lot with learning how to be a group and working together and um, using each other's skills so that
Mhm.
we can become better as athletes.
Yeah, and that's very important because at the end, well, there's gonna be a lot of people, like cheering for the team. Like I gotta be one of those, and one of them, and but at the end, that when you start, well, you've been there, in your team, like in the university games. That's some. What do you feel something different between, well, nationals, Pan Americans, university games, and now is that like, well, it's gonna be the World Games in my house. Like how do you feel about that? Because you know, no the pressure.
Oh yeah. It's been super exciting. Nationals is normally in Lubbock, Texas every single year. And then we had Pan American Games in Lubbock also. And so that was a little bit of a step up. But now that Worlds is finally in Fort Worth, Texas, after 28 years of being international, it's surreal. It's scary, but I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be so much fun.
What is your weight class? I'm sorry.
I'm 52 kilograms, which is
Okay.
114 pounds.
Yeah. Now 52. Yeah, it's gonna be, yeah. Yeah, it's a very competitive. Actually, okay, guys. In the female division, those divisions are the most dangerous actually. Like the lightweight, and it's like if you're watching Dragon Ball, fighting. Like honestly, it's like there's a lot of speed, power, uh, strength, wrestling, takedowns. It's gonna be like if you are in Texas or in US, whatever, please try to go because you need to understand more about this, and you need to understand like all the sacrifice. We're gonna talk about sacrifice right now, but all the sacrifice these athletes and like Audrey, like she's working since 8-year old to 23 years old. All the process, all the experience, everything, all the sacrifice, the discipline that you need to be there, and that is something excited because like maybe in my life is like, hey, I know this girl, and in my life I'm gonna get that experience in my mind and in my life. Like I saw her fighting, and she's good. And if you're in Texas, please go join the team, bring your flags, bring your family, bring everyone, guys, because we're hosting these games, and we need supporting these athletes. And I'll be there. My family gonna going, my students going. Like we going to be a big USA guys, cheering to the team. And Audrey, what is your feeling right now? About your weight and okay, I'm just a few days, to depart to Dallas. And what is your feeling right now? How do you feel?
I feel pretty comfortable right now. I'm pretty much, at the weight I'm supposed to be. It was a long and hard journey to get as low as I am. Um, because as a woman, it's harder for women to lose weight.
Yeah.
It's just how our bodies work. And so I had to like really watch what I eat. But now that I'm here, I'm a little more comfortable with, the weight class that I'm at. And I think that once I get there and weigh in, I'm going to feel so much relief when it's over. But yeah.
And let's talk about sacrifice
Okay.
in like your whole life in this sport. Not today, but what are the sacrifice you did, like in this, man, in your life? Because you start when you was 8, so it's if I don't know, but if you if you watch the other podcast and you notice like everyone, even including me, but I'm not gonna talk about myself right now, but many people sacrifice like parties, friendship, sometimes personal life, boyfriend, girlfriends, wife, whatever, kids. But what is your story, like your story here in about sacrifice?
I think that my biggest sacrifice throughout being in grade school was having the freedom to hang out with my friends. Um, I would go to practice, like we'd get out from school at like 4 o'clock, and then I'd have maybe 30 minutes to eat, and we'd go straight to the gym. And so, and if I wasn't at the gym, I was at my extracurricular sports in school. And so I never really got that experience to hang out with all of my school friends. And I think that was a big sacrifice for me, just gaining that, school childhood experience. Um, and then another sacrifice is just, having to spend time with my family and having to spend time with Jaden. And, you don't really get any alone time or personal time because you're either, at work, at school, or at the gym. And so that's been super hard. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do for whatever you love. And, I love this sport. Jaden loves this sport. And I think that those sacrifices are worth making if it's something that I love doing.
Yeah, and is there any, because you said like you're working full time.
I am, yes. It's been super hard. It's, I work in a middle school for Communities in Schools, which is it's like a nonprofit organization that helps kids in need. So we get them clothing and food and finances and housing and all kinds of stuff. And it's
Wow.
been super hard to help those kids outside of work
Yeah.
because I have, my obligations and my training and my weight cut. And so not being able to attend their games and their band and orchestra concerts, and that kind of makes them sad because they want me there. But that's another sacrifice I've had to make because I go straight from the school to the gym for weight cut, and so that's been tough, but they understand. So
But yeah, and actually, I think like you being a good model for them, because like like, hey, Audrey is doing this and she's helping kids and that, and I think you are changing lives, I think, and like, because at the end they know you, they know what you're doing and why you are doing this, and one day maybe one of those kids can be a champion. I don't know, what do you think about that?
I've definitely had a couple of kids want to start doing it because, I've shown them some of my little videos or whatever. And the girls especially, they get super excited about it. And, some of these girls have behavioral issues or, family problems. And so,
Yeah.
I think that this would really help them with those problems and those issues because it does teach you discipline and it does teach you respect, and it makes you appreciate everything else in life. So I think that they get super excited about it, and I'm trying to get some of them to go to the gym. So hopefully that works.
Yeah, why not? And what is your vision about your future in this sport? Like, what are your goals? Well, let's talk about vision, because and then goals. But what is your vision and expectations about you in this sport in the future and in the next War Games?
I think that in the sport, I definitely want to be the first female to medal in worlds, hopefully gold.
Of
But
course.
I think that I want to be able to build women up and help them want to do this sport, because a lot of women, I've talked to several women and they're like, oh, I want to do this, it sounds so much fun, but their husbands won't let them do it, or they have children so they can't do it, or they're scared because they're female. And so one of my goals is to make it more comfortable for them to want to come and train and want to be more confident with this sport. Because I think it's a super fun sport and you can learn a lot from it.
Yeah. And what are your expectations, like in this in the next next week actually, because we are 1 week less than a week actually.
My expectations are to medal. Hopefully, my skills are there. Hopefully my cardio and my condition's there, and I can make it onto that podium. I think that's my main expectation and goal. But I just want to put on a good show. I want to, make my coach proud. I want to make my teammates, my family proud. And I do want to be somebody that can go to Worlds and people will remember me. They'll be like, oh, that's the USA fighter that was badass. And but yeah, I think those are my expectations for this specific Worlds.
And believe me, Audrey, like even if I'm not in Lubbock, and as a Sanda coach or former Sanda fighter, whatever, I'm very proud of you, like because it's not easy,
Yeah.
Actually I remember when I was training in China, in Beijing. Only the first year I remember they had a female team, and then they moved to other city. I don't know why, but I I always like how they sacrifice, because as you said, it's not easy to be a woman and fighting because the culture, whatever. Honestly, to me, it's like you have more respect than a guy, because like you are representing, you are winning since how many nationals you have, like 10 gold medals.
I think so. 10, 11. I've lost
You
count
know,
there. But
you're very humble. You're very humble. You're really like a good girl, in a good manner. Your manners, your values, you have everything. Like and that's something. And I wish and I hope that many kids, many little girls, next nationals. Like I hope we can see that like more girls, competing. And because I think you are the ambassador. You are that ambassador, like
Mhm.
you have everything. You've been representing US, you've been winning nationals, and many people knows your name. Pan American champion. You fought with one of the best female in America, in all the continent, which is Beatriz. And 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 I think you're gonna do well. Like I don't know what about, like, when you training, and what about Bruce? What about Vincent? Like what they telling you, as a teammate?
As a teammate, I think that all of my teammates are really, really supportive and very uplifting. Being the only girl at my gym that trains and takes it seriously, they get to see me every day and see all of my emotions and all of my, my mood swings. And
Yeah.
they definitely help uplift me and make me feel confident and make me feel strong. And, you know, Coach Lee being my coach, he's also helped making, like building that mindset that I have now of I am strong and I am, you know, I, I can be that strong-minded woman that I, want to be. Um, and then even training with my boyfriend, like we're training partners and he's helped me a lot, especially in practice, to be like, well, you've got this, you can't be in this mindset, you've got to switch it. And so um, all of them have been super, super helpful with my mentality and my strength and my confidence. And so I'm super blessed to have a team like that.
Yeah. And how many hours you're training, in this camp? How many? Yeah. uh how many months? Like 1 2 months with a team?
Hmm.
And how many hours you've been training?
Um, it varies. Recently, it's been about 4, maybe 4.5 hours a day. When I first started my weight cut and starting to train for the fight, it was about 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah.
Just because I work. If I didn't work, I would have been training more. But we do training outside of the gym also for like cardio and weight training and stuff, and so that adds onto it, which makes it a really, really long training day.
Yeah, yeah. So you've like what time you finish your like your job, like you like your hours, like 5 6 p.m.
So I get done with work at about 4:10, 4:15. I'll go home, change, and then I'll go straight to the gym.
And
Um,
then 4 hours.
yeah, and then after that, we'll go to like a local gym and train there and weightlift and ride the bike or do the row. So that's like an additional 30 minutes to an hour. Yeah,
Wow. No, no, no. But hey, I respect like it's amazing, because that's part of the sacrifice,
Mhm.
that's something that we I think one of the main or the bullet points in this podcast is the sacrifice because
Right.
like I know people like, hey man, I remember the podcast with the Brazilian guy and the Argentinian guy and then the Lebanon guy, and oh my god, yeah man, but that is like even if you're not in the Olympics, but I can tell you, like we train harder than a lot of Olympians, and I'm being honest.
Absolutely.
And you can tell me about that. Like you're younger than me. I'm 38. You're 23, and maybe your generation is uh you're living more transitions, you know,
Right.
and yeah. What is your like? What can you tell us about that? Like we train same or more, or what are your thoughts about this?
I think it's crazy the amount of time we spend with training because we do it just to do it. We do it because we love it. And there's no money involved. There's no prize at the end. I mean, it's just, if you love the sport, you're going to do it and you're going to put all your work into it. And I think that, in other countries, there may be money behind it or, people will get paid for it. But we're just doing it because we love it. And I think that that is the best. And that's what gives us the heart and it gives us the passion because we want to do this and we want to succeed in it. So we'll put all of this time, however long it takes, to make ourselves perfect at this sport. And I
Yeah,
think that's crazy.
yeah, and oh man, that it's sad when we talk about or we mention that we're doing this because we love it. That is not the sad thing. The sad thing is like we do it for passion and there's not money involved, I have a student, and one day he told me, hey coach, you prefer to be professional, or you prefer to be a national team member? And of course, 1000%, I prefer to be a national team member because I think there's more honor and respecting to the profession. You know like I think there's a lot of honor, like a wearing that jacket, and because your name is gonna be in the books the rest of our lives,
Right.
because you already actually your name is already in the books.
Yeah, literally.
No, it is in this sport, and I don't know in Lubbock, but I think you have that, mentions in Lubbock, right?
I've been on the news a couple times. I know that IWF did a little
Yeah,
stage on me a while back. Uh, and then the USAWKF had a book, I think, and there was a little section where it was explaining what I do and why I'm doing it.
yeah, and look, being in the university games, that your name is there, and believe me guys, um I wasn't had like I never had that opportunity to represent when I was in the Mexico team, because I think we're not in the university games in that time. But right now, to all the athletes, they have the chance to represent your country in university games. Do you know how many opportunities you have in your future? Like like if you're listening or watching this podcast, because many people think like, okay, yeah, you're an athlete, but then what? Let me tell you something. In my case, in my life, I open a lot of doors because of my discipline. And
Right.
I think Audrey can tell you that about her life because just you just heard like she's working with kids, right?
I am, yes, middle school.
Middle school, and in some reasons like you're you're like a life changer, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but
Yeah.
yeah, you change lives. And all that curriculum, you're always going to be in one, maybe in my life or any other life, but you always have a purpose. You're gonna have a purpose. And I
Right.
think, Audrey, that is one of the most valued things we have, even if you don't get paid. But I think there's the best payment we have when we change someone's life. What do you
I
think?
agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that it's so awesome to be able to feel like people are looking up to you and people, you know, see you and they're like, wow, she's really doing that. I think it's so much more valuable than
Yeah,
getting paid to do the sport.
yeah,
And
yeah,
all
yeah.
the experiences as well. I mean, all the experiences that I've gained, and all the things that I've learned, I think that's so much more valuable.
And let me tell you this. Um, I see the Iranian guys, that like they prefer, even if they're MMA fighters or Muslim Salikov or the Russian,
Hmm.
like I remember like they prefer to be fighting for their countries in Sanda.
Right.
Then like, okay, I'm good at it. I'm a good fighter. Yeah, they gonna pay me good. But but once they wear the jacket, Jesus Christ, like you know what I mean, right? And
Yeah.
and and Audrey, what are your goals as a professional? Like not as an athlete, like Audrey Meeks. Like, what do you want in your future? Like, you want to be a police, you want to be this, you want to be that, you want to be in the army. What we can expect from Audrey?
Um, Currently, I think my biggest goal is to continue to help children in whatever way possible. I think that I've found the perfect job for me because it helps me be that role model that, some of those kids don't have at home. And
Yeah.
it gives them somebody to look up to and to listen to them. And it's been a really amazing opportunity just to be able to have kids want to come to me for, emotional support and help. And so I think that's my biggest goal right now is to continue to make change in children's lives.
Wow, that's beautiful because that's beautiful. Like I have no words how to answer this, but yeah, as a coach, like I had a lot of those students. Sometimes you help people and you become the light of their lives. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
think you are one of those.
Hmm.
And can you, I don't know if you can, but do you have any good story with some of those kids, like how do you change that life or something like that? If you don't want, it's fine,
Oh,
but
no. I think the biggest thing that put a smile on my face and made me feel so amazing was actually on Halloween this year. So not too long ago, there was a kid that had behavioral issues, and he got sent to a separate room with children that have the behavioral issues. And we walked in there with this kid, and he was like not having a great day. And so I talked to him and I was like, what's going to help you, change this attitude? What's going to help you want to do better today? And he was like, well, I don't have a Halloween costume. And so I was like, okay, so what do you want to be? And he told me he wanted to be Superman. And so I made a deal with him and I was like, if your behavior changes and you're awesome today and you're smiling at people and you're not, talking back and being rude, I will get you a Halloween costume. And so he was like, well, all I want is a Superman cape. He had the face paint on and everything already. He looked so cute. Um, and so his behavior changed, and I immediately went to the store and I couldn't find a Superman cape anywhere. And so my last resort was to go to the fabric store,
Uh-huh.
and I got like a whole bunch of fabrics for this Superman cape, and I actually like handmade this Superman costume for him.
Wow. Wow.
And when I handed it to him, I was like, "You did a really amazing job today. You did so good, and I'm so proud of you." I handed him the cape, and the face that he made, he just looked like the happiest boy in the world. Like, it was pure happiness, and it just made my heart happy because it's those little things that kids don't get at home that I get to help with, and I get to you know encourage that good behavior, and I get to encourage the good grades, and just be there for them.
And you just said like those it's the little things, you know,
Yeah.
that really change, people, because sometimes we have the chance to buy a custom, and
Mhm.
because we have, whatever. But when we do that little, and then like you bought the fabric and everything, like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
you're like, hey, that's awesome, because you like I think this sport, like in you talking about Sanda, uh it makes you what you are. Part of your life is like, this is what you are, and this is why. And you're always happy, and you're always smiling. Since I know you, like, hey, Audrey,
Yeah.
you're the happy face of the team, honestly. And you're always smiling. And sometimes, even if you don't know someone, like, hey, Audrey, hi, how are you? Hey, what's up? You always like polite.
Right.
And what you just said about that kid, wow, it's wonderful. Because what is your major in? Sorry.
I actually majored in criminal justice and sociology.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, and I think you had some of the psychology classes, right?
I did not take psychology. My minor was social work.
Okay, okay, okay. So so sociology. That's why. So
Yeah.
that talks more about who you are. So the sport, criminal justice, sociology, Audrey. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful, and congratulations. So, are you, I don't know, in your future, do you like to get a master's, or you're good, or what do you want?
Right now I'm pretty good with my bachelor's degree, but
Um,
if something pops up later in life and I need a master's degree for it, I'm definitely going to go for it. Because opportunities come and go, and you might as well take them as they're here. So.
yeah, yeah, Audrey. Uh before we go, is there something that you want to share with people about, you want to recommend, or any advice to those little girls, to those parents, because you are a special case in this sport in US, honestly. And why I'm talking about, like, why I'm mentioning special case, because I've been doing this since, like, from 32 years of my life, and then 10 years with my school here in Laredo. And I saw a lot of girls with a lot of potential, a lot of potential. And for some reason, many parents is like, oh no, this is too dangerous. But they don't see the future about, like, hey, okay, it's a, as you said, any sport, you can have an injury in any sport. That's all.
Right.
But I really love to hear from you, like, from Audrey, as a daughter, as a woman, as a professional, as you know, can you give us any advice, as a, to the parents, to the young athletes, please?
I think that my biggest advice would probably be to just go for it. You're never going to know until you try. And I think that if you want to do something, you can do it. Like, anything's possible. And I think that, this sport will help you become the woman you want to be. And it'll help you become the girlfriend, the wife, the daughter, the professional, whatever you want to be. It'll help you become that, and it'll help you learn life skills, not just in the sport, but, you know, things that you can use throughout your life. And, you know, I think that you should always do what you love, and you should always have people around you that support what you love and what you want to do. And yeah, I think that if you want to do it, you should just go for it.
Wow. So let's say any advice, let's say as a father. Hey Audrey, can you give me advice as a father? You know, I have a daughter. I want her to train something, or I'm scared because she start training Sanda, but what can I expect?
I think that, you know, as a daughter myself
Yeah.
and having, you know, supportive parents, my parents have always been super supportive. I think that the best you can do is just let them do what they want to do, because they'll either love it or they'll hate it and they'll move on to something else. But either way, they're going to learn those skills and evolve into an amazing person. Everybody that I know that does this sport is just unique and amazing in their own way, and they have great support systems and great families. And everyone that I train with, they have the discipline and they have the love and the passion for the sport and for, you know, other people. And the sport will help make you successful throughout your life, and it'll teach you life skills that you'll have forever and you'll be able to use your entire life.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. I hope this video, you know, internet, it's sometimes it's like I think it's forever. I don't know, but I hope this video can be shared like around the world, because many people, thank God, many people around the world, they are watching these videos, like Sanda fighters life. You know, not and that's something I know. Many of the Sanda fighters around the world, they are MMA fighters, professional fighters, kickboxers, whatever. But when I start this podcast, it was because it's like, okay, how many people know about us? You know, how many people know about these athletes right now?
Right.
Okay, I'm a former athlete, but the new generation, how can we support? How can we help? What can we do?
I think you broke up on me.
Are you there?
I am. I think I lost you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Something happens. I'm so sorry, guys. Sorry. Something happens with my connection. I'm so sorry. So yeah. So
Oh,
I'm sorry. I don't know what is happening.
it's okay.
So Audrey, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this podcast with you. And I hope to see you. I can't wait to see you in Dallas, doing what you love. And I know you're gonna get a medal. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Everyone in Laredo is wishing you the best. Everyone, and hey, thank you for being here with us in this first anniversary of the Lei Tai project.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was super fun. I loved being able to share my
Yeah,
experience.
thank you. Thank you. Please share this podcast with all your friends and family, and I'll do my best to. Can you share us? I don't know, like, can you share with people any like your Instagram, like if they like where they can, contact you
Yeah.
if you want,
So like all of my social media handles.
as you want, yeah, as you want.
I really only use Instagram. So my Instagram is Audrey_Meeks_. And then Facebook, you can just look me up as Audrey Meeks.
Okay, yeah, I'm
Those are
going
the only
to.
ones I use.
I'm gonna put the in the description your if you allow me, to
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
people can contact you and I know after after these World Games, more people gonna know you, and I know it's going to be a good experience to see you fight, because I know you're gonna do your best, and I know you're gonna do well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Audrey, for so thank you everyone who's watching or listening this podcast. Again, I hope to see you in Dallas, Texas. If you see me or if you see any of the USA team members, please do this. We are waiting for a lot of people to support these games to the USA team, even in Taolu and Sanda. And believe me, guys, you're not gonna regret this. You're gonna love this. And I hope many people in US start training this beautiful sport after the World Games. Thank you so much. This is the episode 22 with Audrey Meeks, the champion, the best of the best female in US. So hope to see you there and see you next time in the podcast. Who's gonna be? I hope Livingston from the USA team, but I think it's going to be after the World Game. So I hope he can be the 23rd episode here. So thank you, Audrey. Please don't go and see you soon, guys.